Good morning, and thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of TVC Breakfast. I am Veronica Dan Ikboy. In the studio with me is Super Sam Omashe as well as Mike Okwache. Gentlemen, thank God it's Friday.
Yeah,
it's another day.
Another Friday is here. Another Friday. Sam say, thank God it's
It's
another day.
That's why I used that word. All right, just to reflect on the unfortunate incident that happened yesterday at the PWD bus stop in Ikeja area of Lagos State, where a train rammed into a BRT bus conveying some workers of the Lagos State government to work at about 7:30 in the morning. Those are the pictures there on your screen. The train rammed into the bus, and that led to the death of 2 persons right on the spot, and 4 persons were said to have died while the victims were taken to the hospital. Over a number of persons were in that bus, and now the Lagos State government has declared 3 days of mourning, as well as there will be no campaigns. The governor is saying there will be no campaigns for the next 3 days, and that flags will be flown at half-mast later today, gentlemen. So,
it's a very sad development. Those people woke up in the morning and they were going to do their routine, their jobs, or fulfill a life of routine glory. That's how I put it. Goodbye to your loved ones, goodbye. And
see you later
you had
in the
a
day.
plan for the day and so on. And then this. As I said earlier before the show began, I said there was no eclipse of the sun, but lives have been eclipsed. Joys have been eclipsed. Plans have been eclipsed. And all because of one person, the driver.
Yes.
There's a place in the Bible that says that God should deliver us from foolish and unreasonable men. This man had this insistent fatality. The fact that you look like the Okonkwo complex, you see death and you go towards it, except that the death he was going towards was not his own. It was the death of the people who were warning him that he was moving too fast. He had dodged one, and he thought that he was dodging another. He thought it was an act of play. Lagos State has an institute that trains drivers to make sure that they don't only understand the technique of driving, but also the conscience of driving. You know, you teach people, but you cannot do the work for them. So that's the kind of thing that happened. The other thing I want to say is that the federal government should also create on the railway crossings, they should create the gates. They should come to that, because elsewhere that's what happens. You create the gate before the train comes. There is a hoot. Poo, 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 poo. So before you get there, everybody knows that the train is coming and the gate is about to be shut. And then the gate is shut, the gate is shut, and even if you are a foolish one, you rather ram into the gate than ram into the train. So I think that this is an opportunity for the federal government to address that issue, that anywhere there is a rail crossing, you don't just put manual people there. You make it an automatic thing, that immediately a button is pressed, nobody needs to be there. The gate will close on its own, and there will be hoot warning you about 2 or 3 or 4 minutes before you get there, that the gate is about to shut. Even about that, accidents can happen. We saw the one that happened in the U.S. just a week or so ago, where it caused a lot of damage. Things can happen.
Right.
But it's not this type that was prevented. As the governor said this was a preventable accident.
Yes.
And it was a preventable accident. And the governor must be commended for the promptness with which he responded, the humanity and also the presence of mind, to handle this, to take it away from politics and all of that.
Right, Mike.
Yeah,
quickly.
it's really sad, and our heart goes out to those who lost their lives. You see the carelessness of one person, how the consequences of it, the families that have lost loved ones, they could be the breadwinners of their families,
Absolutely,
and so on.
yeah.
And even the BRT bus was bought with taxpayers' money. All that is gone. So the point there is, a lot of people don't understand the consequences of their judgment.
Yeah.
Because if you're driving, the lives of so many persons are vested in your care at the time that you're driving. And your judgment as to, should I go ahead, should I not go ahead, should I turn left, should I turn right, could jeopardize or undermine the lives of so many persons. And that's what happened here. So who pays for all of those things now?
Right.
Right. So I think the legal, like Sam said, where there is a level crossing, it is either there's a flyover of the flyover bridge where the train goes over the road, or there's a barricade where it opens and it closes, from time to time whenever the train is about to cross. Some of these people don't understand, the workings of around the train. That's why some of these things happen, but they should be trained.
Right. We wait for the investigation
I just
that will
want
be carried out.
to say a short story here.
Quick, okay, because
An accident
news.
was prevented when I was going to secondary school. I was about 11, and we're driving in a car. The car was moving at a very high speed, and everybody was angry. So my father just quietly asked the person to stop. I wanted to say something to him. He went to beg him, and then the next slowed down. So I wish that when you have drivers like that, the passengers don't shout on the driver, because it will stir his hubris. All you need is to cajole him to stop, because your life is at stake. The man is not a reasonable person.
Right. A huge lesson there.
Yes.
Well, we'll wait for the investigation that the federal government will be carrying out later on as things unfold. But let's bring you the news update at this time. And we begin the news from Lagos State, where 6 persons have been confirmed dead following a train collision with a Lagos State government staff bus along PWD Shogunle area of Lagos. The police say it has begun investigation into the train accident, while the Commissioner of Police in charge of railways spoke to the media when the bus driver was brought in for psychiatric evaluation. TVC News correspondent Theophilus Ilama has the update.
The surgical emergency unit of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital was a beehive of activity as doctors work around the clock to ensure patients are attended to promptly. Fatal cases of vehicle-train collision had resulted in casualties over the years. The last one was recorded in December 2022 when a passenger train from Kaduna to Abuja crashed a middle-aged woman to death on the rail track around the Kubwa area of the nation's Federal Capital Territory. This time, 6 persons have been confirmed dead from the tragedy in Lagos.
I've gone to the accident and emergency hospital on the Ibadan tollgate, expressway tollgate. I reviewed all the patients there. They're all stable. They're going to have some procedures to stabilize them. They're doing very well. A number were also moved to Bagada. I went to visit them there as well. They're also stable. One lady has a fracture of the leg and of pelvis. They're going to stabilize her in theater tomorrow. We also have a few patients at Lagos Island General Hospital, which are very well. And there are some at Orile Agege General Hospital who are also doing very well.
Families of victims were in sober mood as they watched their loved ones being stretched into the surgical emergency unit for treatment.
We're investigating, and if he's found culpable, he's going to be prosecuted. And the police is not working alone. We are working with the state's DPP. I'm sure they will be the one that will prosecute him. We're just gathering evidences and exhibits and everything so that we'll ensure that we have enough evidence to prosecute him.
The said driver of the ill-fated bus was brought into the hospital for several tests, which are to be run on the driver. The tests include urine test, psychological evaluation amongst others, to ascertain his well-being before further investigations. As darkness began to fall, so also were the canopies set up here to give cover to patients brought in. Stakeholders and safety experts have called for preventive measures to stop a reoccurrence. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
And the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has suspended all public functions and campaign for 3 days. This is due to the bus train collision that happened on Thursday, claiming 6 lives and leaving many injured. Senior correspondent Adedoja Salam Adeni was with the governor when he visited the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, where most of the injured victims are receiving treatment.
It's a Black Thursday for Lagos State civil servants and the state as a whole. This is a triage medical system created at the front of surgical emergency at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, where emergency of this magnitude can be easily profiled, attended to, and determine the level of injury sustained by victims. Some of the injured have gone for X-ray, others rushed to the theater, intensive care unit, and wards for further observations. In a press briefing at Lassoth, Governor Sanwo-Olu, who is deeply saddened by the incident, says staff bus number 33, moving from Isolo heading towards Alausa, has 85 passengers, mostly civil servants.
42 were classified as moderate injuries, 29 are serious injuries, 8 are mild injuries, and unfortunately we have recorded 6 fatalities. 2 were brought in dead from the site, which was what LASEMA, first respondents, talked about. But here in Lassoth, we've had 4 additional deaths.
For this, all public functions and political campaigns in Lagos have to be on hold.
All our flags, Lagos State flags, and political flags, should be, raised, and half-mast for the next 3 days. We're actually also declaring a 3-day, mourning for us as a state. I will also be suspending my campaign for the next 3 days. There will not be any form of public engagement or any form of campaigning during this period, so that we also can join a family in the morning.
Governor Sanwo-Olu also appealed to Nigerians to assist the victims.
Lassoth will be collecting blood donors, so we want to encourage the public who wishes to donate blood to come forward. We have more than enough blood to take care of all of the patients, but indeed, as is done everywhere, you need to restock back that bank. So that's what we're calling on the general public.
The governor thanked the entire staff of Lassoth for the level of commitment, display, and the immediate response to the call to duty to save lives. Adedoja Salam Adeniyi, TVC News, Lagos.